insects. Active movements of antennae and walking legs of a stick. Insect delimit a volume around the body within which the limbs may touch an object. Since this volume comprises that part of the ambient space within which motor activity, proprioceptive and tactile sensory input may coincide, it may be called the peripersonal space of an insect. Transfer of special contact information can work only in those parts of peripersonal space where at least two limbs may reach the same position. At contact experience of one limb inculcates a potential contact position on another limb. An affordance is generated. A limb may reach a contact location to another limb. Continuously monitoring its position in space relative to a goal is one of the most essential tasks for an animal that moves through its environment. Species as diverse as rats, bees, and crabs achieve this by integrating all changes of direction with the distance covered during their foraging trips, a process called path integration. They generate an estimate of their current position relative to a starting point, enabling a straight line return following what is known as a home vector. Many navigating insect ended really an external compass closed for estimating body orientation, whereas the obtained distance and formation by integration of steps are optic flow-based speed signals. In the insect brain, a region called the central complex plays a key role for path integration. Not only does the central complex has a ring attractor network that encodes head directions, neurons responding to optic flow also converge with the circuit. Muscle structure of insect. Muscles can be divided into four categories. Number 1 is visceral. These muscles surround the tubes and ducts and produce peristalsis as demonstrated in the digestive system. Number 2 is segmental. Segmental causing telescoping of muscle segments required for molting, increases in body pressure and locomotion in legless larvae. Number 3 is appendicular. Appendicular means originating from either the sternum or the tergum and inserted on the coccyx. These muscles move appendages as one unit. These are arranged segmentally and usually in antagonist pairs. Appendage parts of some insect. Example, the galea and the lasagna of the maxillae only have flexor muscles. Extension of these structures is by hemolymph pressure and cuticle elasticity. Number 4 is flight. Flight muscles are the most specialized category of muscle and are capable of rapid contraction and therefore flight. Those muscles are also known as nervogenic or synchronous muscle. This is because there is one-to-one correspondence between action potentials in muscle contractions. In insects with higher wing stroke frequencies, the muscles contract more frequently than the rate that the nerve impulses reaches them and are known as asynchronous muscles. Has allowed the insect to disperse, escape from enemies and environmental harm, and colonize new habitats. One of the insect's key adaptations is flight, the mechanics of which differ from those of other flying animals because their wings are not modified appendages. Fully developed and functional wings occur only in adult insects. To fly, gravity and drag resistance to movement have to be overcome. Most insects fly by beating their wings and powered to their flight. They have either direct flight muscles attached to the wings or an indirect system where there is no muscle to wing connection and instead they are attached to a highly flexible box-like thorax. Insect flight muscles. Each thoracic segment is encased in four groups of cuticular plates. The notium or sternum on the back, the sternum on the front, and the pleura or singular pleuron on the sides. These four regions of the cuticle are made up of the cuticular plates called respectively the tergites, sternites, and pleurites, and softer articulating membranes that connect the regions together. The flight muscles attach to certain of these plates of celerites, or more specifically to celerites or cuticular plates of the exoskeleton in the pleura, the group of cuticular plates making up the sides of the insect, that then attach to the wing base. The base of the wing attaches to the notum or tergum is the plate that forms the insect's back and the pleuron its side. These are two paired sets of these muscles, the basilar muscles and the suballar muscles. The wing hinge pivots on a projection of the main playwright called the playwright notch or pleural wing process or PWP. The basilar muscles attach just anterior of this pivot point to a small playwright called the suballar cellulite. In dragonflies, the wings do not need to move very fast as these insects are large, and these direct flight muscles provide the motive power or lowering the wing by contracting. Wing's root contains a number of small cuticular plates called axillary cellurites. The second axillary cellurite articulates with the PWP and connects to the suballar. The suballar is hinged to the main playwright just behind the PWP, the basilar in front. Muscle contraction in insect. The rapid movement of the wings in small insect is powered by the indirect muscles. These muscles are capable of contracting at up to 1000 Hz because they are activated mechanically by stretching. The mechanism is so efficient that it is also used in larger insects like the water bug or Lithoceros. The oscillatory activity of the muscles occurs a low concentration of Ca, which stays constant as the muscles contract and relax. Activation by stretch requires particular isoforms of tropomyosin and the troponin complex on the thin filament. We compare the tropomyosin and troponin of Lithoceros and Drosophila with that of vertebrates. The characteristics of the flight muscles regulatory protein suggest ways in which stretch activation works. There is evidence for bridges between troponin on thin filaments and myosin cross bridges on the thick filaments. Recent X-ray fiber diffraction results suggest that a pull on the bridges activates the thin filament by shifting tropomyosin from a blocking position on acting. The troponin bridges are likely to contain extended sequences of tropomyosin or troponin. Flight muscles has two isoforms of TNC with different Ca binding properties. F1 TNC is needed for stretch activation and F2 TNC for isometric contractions. In this review, we describe the structural changes in both isoforms on binding Ca and TNL and discuss how the strict model of a muscle regulations can apply to insect flight muscles. The muscular system of insect. The parts of muscular system insect, number 1 is flexor muscle. Flexor muscle that decrease the angle between bones on two sides of a joint, as in bending the elbow or knee. The flexor digitorum pifundus is a deep muscle that originates at the ulna bone of the forearm and acts to bend the fingers near their tips. And then the number 2 is extensor muscle. Extensor muscle which straightens as the leg that is larger than the flexor muscle which bent it. And then the number 3 that is exoskeleton means outside skeleton. Because insects do not have a skeleton insect their bodies like mammals do. And then last, joint. Joint means called the femur and it contains muscles for jumping and is enlarged out of proportion to the others.